Today, let's start with the AC circuits. Okay. Till yesterday, till the last class rather, we were looking at the circuits which involve only the resistors. Okay. For example, if you see any circuit that we were dealing with, all the circuits only have the resistors. Nowhere L and C are to be seen. Okay, so these circuits are called DC circuits, which are quite easier in the sense if it comes to calculation part. Okay, now AC circuit poses the difficulty or the challenge only when it comes to calculations. Otherwise, whatever mesh analysis you have learned, the node analysis that you have learned, the super mesh techniques, the super node techniques, all are applicable. Okay, the concepts are same, the approach is going to be the same for different circuits. Okay, but only thing that we need to be little careful about is this J term. See this J term, these are imaginary numbers. Till now we were all dealing with the real numbers. Okay, now suddenly since we have got into AC circuits, alternating current circuits, we have to deal with the complex entities, and dealing with the complex entities is what is the challenge here. However good we are, if we don't practice, we'll surely do mistakes. Okay, so that is what we need to be little careful about. Otherwise the things are pretty easy. It is just the practice that one needs to have. Another challenge for me is like I'm not there to handle the calculators and teach you calculators in an effective manner. But no worries, no worries. I hope yesterday when I was dealing with the problems, I took a small introduction to your calculators when it comes to complex domain. Okay, there is a option called complex CMPLX, which you will get if you keep on pressing mode. Okay, you should be in that mode. Okay, I'll be writing the equations to just understand what is that you need to be looking at is, okay, how we should write the equations. After that, how we should arrange them in the standard form. After arranging them in the standard form, how to solve. Okay, so that is what we should learn. We should really start with the things. See, in this problem, what is asked, they have asked us to find out the voltage V naught, which is here, voltage V naught, by mesh analysis and node analysis. Any problem can be done using mesh analysis, and any problem can be done using node analysis. That's why what we shall do, since it is the practice that we are doing, and since it is the calculators with which we are getting good with, okay, we'll go with both the methods, so that you will get to get in touch with both again. Fine. Calculations, as and when we get into the equations, I'll be telling you that. Okay, so in the solution, let us get into what is it, mesh analysis. First, let's solve this using mesh analysis. I hope everybody copied the circuit diagram. Since it is by mesh analysis we are solving first, okay, what is that we need to be doing? What is that we need to do? Okay, is this, let's take this circuit. Okay, okay, we have taken this circuit. Fine. What we shall do here, we shall see here, we shall mark the mesh currents. How many meshes are there? Two meshes are there. So I need to mark two mesh currents, I1 and I2. Is everybody okay with this? I1 and I2. In mesh analysis, we have to be finding out the mesh currents first. So what we shall do, we shall apply KVL to mesh 1 and mesh 2. How many KVL problem it is going to be? Since we don't know any of the mesh currents, we need to apply KVL to both the meshes. So it's a 2 KVL, 2 mesh, to KVL problem. Okay, let's see how the KVL to mesh 1 looks like. Everybody just concentrate. Yeah, KVL to mesh 1. Everybody can just look at this without writing. Then you can just copy it down. Just since this is the first equation we are writing in complex entities. Okay, so this is what. See, this is the voltage. 6 plus J8. 6 plus J8 itself is the voltage. Okay, and since we are coming across this minus sign, I'll write that as minus 6 plus J. I cannot write minus 6 plus J8. It would be a problem if I do that. So it is common sense that we have to take brackets. Since it is minus, if it is plus, there was no necessity, but since there is a minus, this minus is not only for the 6, but it is also for this J8, so you have to put a bracket. So minus 6 plus J8 is the voltage, plus I hope everybody is watching this, plus J2 is the inductive reactance. J2 ohms is the inductive reactance. Okay, so how many currents are flowing? Just one current is flowing. So it is J2 into I1 plus 6. How many currents are flowing? Two currents, I1 minus I2. Okay, equal to 0. So algebraic sum of all these voltages should give you 0 is what is the thing. Fine. Now we shall bring it to the standard form. Which is the standard form we have been seeing? Just observe this. You just group the the coefficients of I1 now. Where are I1? I1 is here and I1 is here. So it is 6 plus J2. 6 is there and J2 is there. Okay. So it is 6 plus J2 I1, then minus 6 I2, minus 6 I2 equal to what? So this should come to the right hand side. So on the right hand side, it would become 6 plus J8. So this is the first equation that we need to have in its standard form. Is everybody okay with this? If you have anything to ask, you can ask me now. Okay, so this is how these things go. We still have not entered the calculation part. Okay, we have just written the KVL to mesh 1. We shall similarly write the KVL to mesh 2 also. Okay, so KVL to mesh 2. KVL to mesh 2. Now you can start writing yourselves. Let's start from 6 ohms. So it is 6 into I2 minus I1. Okay, there is a minus. Okay, since there is a minus, let's write plus and let's put that minus J4 in the bracket. Minus J4 into I2. Okay, then we have got a minus here. So it is minus of minus J8. Okay, so algebraic sum of all this would give you 0. Now again, separate the coefficients of I1 and I2. Okay, there is minus 6 I1. If you come to I2 here, 6 minus J4 I2. Okay, so it's plus 6 minus J4, brackets you need to be very careful with, I2. Which is the constant here? See here, minus of minus, it would be plus J on the left hand side. So on the right hand side, it would become what? Minus J8. So this is your second equation. Is everybody okay with this? Now, after we used to have these two equations, two unknowns, we used to solve this using our calculators, right? But now calculators are not designed to give the solutions for the equations involving the complex numbers. If the equations involve complex numbers, your calculators cannot solve 1 and 2 to find I1 and I2. Everybody's okay? So this is the first challenge. What is the first challenge? I cannot say solving 1 and 2, I1 is this, I2 is this from your calculators. No, not possible. So we have to go with, to solve this, we have to go with something called as Cramer's rule. And I very well know you all are aware of this. Cramer's rule. What is Cramer's rule? You will understand as and when we go with the things. So what we should say is solve 1 and 2, okay, by Cramer's rule. What does Cramer's rule tell us? What does Cramer's rule tell us? See, you should have delta. This is, you know, matrices, right? Okay, we have to have a matrix. It's a 2 cross 2 matrix you will get. See here, just get the coefficients of I1 and I2. Which are the coefficients of I1 and I2? Okay, so let's see that. See, the coefficient of I1 is 6 plus J2. 6 plus J2 is the coefficient of I1. Similarly, coefficient of I2 is minus 6. Come to the second equation. Second equation would come in the second row of the matrix. So it's minus 6 is the coefficient of I1. 6 minus J4 is the coefficient of I2. And we are not forming a matrix, but we are forming the determinant here. This is the determinant. Delta is the determinant. Understand that? What is delta now? Delta is the determinant of quotient matrix. Everybody understand? Delta is, what is this? It is determinant. You need not have to write all this in the exam. You just have to take this and calculate. Determinant of coefficient matrix. What is coefficient matrix? Coefficient matrix is this. If this is coefficient matrix. If you write this, this is coefficient matrix. How did we write that? By taking the coefficients of I1, I2, I1, I2 here in from the two equations. Okay, but what we need is the determinant now. What is determinant? Is this, having two lines here. Okay, so let's find the determinant here. How to find the determinant? It is equal to here 6 plus J2 into 6 minus J4. Okay, so minus into minus is plus, but there should be a minus because it is, you all understand why. Is this okay with you? So there are calculations which are not difficult now. So what you would do, you just directly say that this is, you can use calculators for this. Not at all a problem. You can use the calculators and say this is going to be 8 minus J12. 8 minus J12. That is your delta. Is this okay with everybody? This is going to be 8 minus J12. Now, how this becomes 8 minus J12? How to do this with the calculators is something I'll tell you. Okay, in some other session I'll tell you. First, let me give you the feel of how the problem is going to be. Okay. Let's just since this is the first problem, you may have the curiosity how we are going to deal with this. Okay, in the calculators, what you would type is this. To calculate this, what you would type in your calculators are, you should be in the complex mode. Okay, you should be in the complex mode. Then you would say 6, you should open the bracket. Okay, then you would say 6 plus 2i, you should write in the calculator. 2i you should type. Again, open the bracket. It's 6 minus 4i. Since this j in calculator is I, but that I should come after the number. Okay. Then after this, just have to type minus 36 and press enter. Soon after you press enter, 8 minus J12 would be visible in the new version of your calculator. In the older version, just 8 would come at first. Then you have to press shift equal to get the imaginary term. Okay, first 8 will come in the old version of your calculators. Then you should press shift equal to get this. It will look like minus 12 and I would be there in one of the corners. So you will understand that. So this is how we calculate the delta. And what is delta 1 and delta 2 now? Having got delta, to find out I1 and I2 by Cramer's rule, we need to know what is delta 1 and delta 2. I'll tell you what is delta 1 and delta 2 now. Okay. Those who have forgotten, just try remember this. We are finding out delta 1. What is delta 1? See this right hand side, you're seeing this, right? Right hand side of equation 1, right hand side of equation 2. Okay, substitute this in the place of first column. 6 plus j8, 6 plus j8. Okay, the constant I am saying on the right hand side. Then minus j8. 6 plus j8 and minus j8 should come as the first column, and the second column would be the column of delta matrix. Okay, it is coefficient matrix, that is minus 6, 6 minus j4. Okay, what is the determinant of this? Okay, then what we do, then we find out delta 2. What is delta 2? Delta 2 is substituting the same in the second column. Okay, substituting the right hand side as a second column, that is 6 plus j8 minus 8 would come as the second column, and whatever is there in the first column would be same with the delta in delta, whatever is your first column would be same. 6 plus j2 and minus 6 plus j2 and minus. This is your delta 2. Can you give me delta 1 and delta 2, everybody? Can you go on? Give me delta 1 and delta 2. Let's see. Okay. Now, this delta 1 is happening to be 68 minus j24 and delta 2 is happening to be 52. Now, once we have delta 1 and delta 2, okay, what is our I1? Therefore, our I1 is delta 1 by delta. Okay, similarly, our I2 is delta 2 by delta. Now, if you calculate, what is that we are going to get? Everybody, can you do this and tell me the answer? 68 minus j24 divided by 8 minus j12. What you would get this as? And with calculators, you practice. Okay, manually we can do. I'm not saying we cannot, but practice with calculators, because we'll be having complex, more complex entities when we go further. Okay, 8 minus j12. Anybody? Anybody? So this is 4 plus j3, and your I2 is 2 plus j3. Okay, now you should understand when we are writing our I1 and I2. So therefore our I1, which we wrote as 4 plus j3, okay, is actually what in r theta form. Can you give me that 4 plus j3 in r theta form? Okay, 4 plus 3i is what we type. Okay, this in r theta form is what? 5 at an angle 36.86 amps. Okay, so let's put this in both the forms. Okay, rectangular as well as polar form. This is I1. Similarly, what is going to be your I2? 2 plus j3 in polar form. I2 is 2 plus j3, Okay, what is 2 plus J3 in polar form? 2 plus 3I is what we type. Okay, and in R theta form it is 3.605 3.605 at an angle 56.30 or 56.309 is there, we can write 56.31 amps. So while writing, we shall write in both the forms. Okay, the currents and voltage we should put in both the forms. Okay, so after knowing I1 and I2, what is V naught here? What is V naught? So V naught is 6 into I1 minus I2. Since I2 is approaching negative sign, I1 is approaching positive sign, it is 6 into I1 minus I2. Okay, so it is, so therefore our V naught is 6 into I1 minus I2. So when you are writing the equations, calculations, you can take this, not a problem. 4 plus J3, okay, minus 2 plus J3. Use your calculators or do something to get me the answer. We should put a bracket here also. What did I do? Is that okay? What I've done? No. Yeah, I have to put a bracket here. Okay, so anybody with the answer? So V naught would be 12 volts with this. Everybody get this point now? Okay, so this is how we solve the problems. So this is very time consuming. Okay, if this is DC circuit, we would have got the answer very fast. But since we have to follow this Cramer's rule, okay, it's very time consuming problem. AC circuits are very time consuming problems. Okay, so let's go with node analysis now fast. Okay, let's go with node analysis. Yeah, the same circuit by node analysis we shall do. You can see the calculations later on. Now you can just concentrate here. Second one by node analysis. So how many nodes are there? There's just one node. There's just one node. And with whatever is there, can you tell me what is the voltage at this point? What is the voltage at this point? Can you tell me what is this node voltage? Is it visible there anywhere? Is it visible there anywhere? Since there is voltage V naught dropping across 6 ohms, the voltage at this node is also voltage which is dropping across 6 ohms. So let's not take this as V1 and then write V1 is V naught. That also you can do, but directly this is V naught here. Let me write that. So this is V naught. How many currents? There are 3 currents. There are 3 currents and all the 3 currents are leaving since there is no current source showing the current entering. So KCL at node 1. Let's say node 1 because there is just one node. What is it? What is this current now? What is this current? It is V naught minus this voltage divided by J2. So it is V naught minus 6 plus J8 divided by J2 is the first current. What is the second current? It is V naught by 6. What is the third current? It is V naught minus of minus J8. So it is plus J8 divided by minus J4 equal to 0. Is everybody okay with this? Now how to deal with this? Now you don't need the Cramer's rule because we don't need 2 equations here. Last 10 minutes left. I'll be rushing through. Okay, just see here. Okay, the Cramer's rule is not required. When is Cramer's rule required? When we have to solve the equations to know the unknowns. But here there is just one unknown and one equation, so Cramer's rule will not be applicable here. Okay, it will not employ that. So let's understand how to calculate this. Let's bring the coefficients of V naught one side. So it is 1 by J2. So this is very important. Doing this method is very important. Otherwise, you will find it very difficult. It's 1 by 6. Okay. Then plus 1 by minus J4. What am I doing? I'm combining the coefficients of V naught one side. Okay. Then what is left out there? There is a constant left out. So how I would write that rather? See here, I would be writing that as this is a constant. If I take this on the right hand side, it would look like 6 plus J8 divided by J2 on the right hand side. Then it is minus J8 divided by minus J4 on the right hand side. Is everybody okay with that? Or what would happen with this? It would be minus, or this would also be minus. Yeah, check this. What's happening with this? Is it minus J8 or what happened here? Okay, see here, everybody. I have made a mistake here. It is minus of minus is there, but there is already a minus with J8. See, I'm doing a mistake there. Everybody just observe here. Okay, the problem is it is V naught minus of minus, so this would be plus. There is already a minus with J, so that will make this as minus, so this will become plus. Everybody understand the problem here? V naught minus of minus minus J8, it is V naught minus of minus minus J8, so it is V naught minus J8. Okay, now you have to calculate these in your calculators. Okay, now I'll write the calculated value. You can check that later. If you don't understand, you can, I'll help you out with that. Not now. Okay, so just take down this and try it yourselves after the class. Okay, now anyways, there's not going to be that 12-15 class it seems today. Okay, so you can try all these calculations there. So this would be 2 minus J3. So if you see, we will get our V naught. If you just work out with this, we'll get our V naught to be 12 volts. I have some techniques. Okay, I have some techniques. I'll be telling you that. Fine. Now